The small colony of Eridronine lay quiet beneath the twin suns, a dusty outpost on the edge of explored space. Farmers tended to strange alien crops, and soldiers patrolled the rocky plains, watching for pirates or worse. Nothing unusual had happened. In months, until the sky suddenly split with a roaring sound, a bright flash cut through the afternoon, and a lone figure tumbled out of a crashing ship. It hit the ground hard, sending dust and stones flying. The strange craft, small and battered, lay smoking beside the crater. Nearby, a patrol squad of soldiers heard the crash and rushed to the site. Their leader, Captain Mirasolin, raised her hand sharply to halt them as they approached the smoking wreck. "Wait," she whispered, her voice tense. "We don't know what we're dealing with." The soldiers crouched behind rocks and scanned the area. In the middle of the crater stood the stranger. He was tall, but not like any human they'd seen. His movements were too quick, too fluid, almost unnatural. Muscles shifted under his dark clothing, but there was no fear or confusion in his eyes. Only cold calculation. Stranger's gaze met Mira's from a distance. His voice was calm but strange when he spoke. "Don't call me human." The words sent a chill through the soldiers' bones. They glanced at each other nervously, gripping their weapons tighter. What was this creature? Why had he come here? Mira raised her hand. "We're here to help. Who are you?" The stranger didn't answer. Instead, he turned and began walking toward the nearby village, a place where no outsiders were welcome. Sensors in the soldiers' helmets started to glitch and beep strangely. The usual readings on their scanners flickered and disappeared. "Captain," one soldier said, his voice shaky, "our equipment isn't working right around him." Mira frowned, watching the stranger's silhouette grow smaller in the distance. The air around him seemed to warp slightly, like reality was bending near his body. Back at the colony's command center, alarms blared. The commander, a stern woman named Jessa Rao, stared at the incoming data feed with growing fear. "What is that thing?" Jessa demanded. The scientist in a white coat shook his head. "Our sensors can't identify it properly. It's not just a biological life form, there's something else." Alien. Suddenly, a secret broadcast appeared on all channels across the colony and neighboring systems. A distorted voice warned, "This being is not what it is. Seems linked to ancient powers, long thought extinct. Beware the one who is not human." The broadcast cut off abruptly, leaving only static. Panic spread quickly. The people of Eridronine locked their doors and turned off their lights. Rumors flew. Was this stranger a spy, a weapon, or something worse? Meanwhile, the stranger walked alone through the village, passing houses with cracked windows and empty streets. He didn't hurry, but every step felt purposeful. Suddenly, a group of soldiers blocked his path. Mira stepped forward. "You must come with us. We need answers." The stranger's eyes flickered coldly. "You don't understand. I am not what you think." He raised his hand, and for a moment the soldiers felt a strange pressure in the air, like invisible fingers brushing their minds. One soldier staggered and fell to his knees, gasping. Mira's jaw tightened. "Hold your ground." Before the situation could escalate, the colony's emergency sirens began to wail. From the sky, distant ships appeared, fast, sleek vessels, unlike anything the colony had ever seen. They circled low, scanning. The stranger looked up calmly. "They're coming for me." Mira narrowed her eyes. "Who are they?" He didn't answer. Instead, he turned and ran toward the rocky hills outside the village, moving so fast he seemed to blur. The soldiers gave chase, but their scanners still flickered wildly, and the stranger disappeared from their view. That night, as the colony hunkered down in fear, Mira sat staring at the dark horizon. She thought of the stranger's words. "Don't call me human." Who was he really? What was the ancient power he carried inside? Why did everyone fear calling him by the name they had always used, human? The answer could change everything they thought they knew about themselves. And the galaxy. The sun was just rising over Eridronine when the stranger was finally captured. After hours of searching through the rocky hills, Soldiers found him resting near a cold spring. He did not resist. Instead, he looked at them with tired eyes. "Captain?" Mira Solon stood before him, her arms crossed. "You could have run. Why didn't you?" The stranger's voice was low and serious. "Because I have no place to run." Back at the colony's medical facility, the stranger was taken for examination. Scientists buzzed around him, scanning and testing. They found strange traces in his blood, a mix of human DNA and something unknown. His body was stronger and faster than any human's. His skin seemed almost impervious to injury. Dr. Kellen, the lead scientist, shook his head. "This isn't natural. This is an experiment, a hybrid of man and alien technology." The stranger watched quietly, but finally spoke. "I was made, not born. It's created to carry a power that was lost." Flashbacks came like broken memories in his mind. A cold laboratory on a distant world, bright lights, voices speaking in an unknown language. He remembered being tested, modified, given abilities he could barely understand. But there was one promise that echoed louder than the rest: to protect. A secret that could change the galaxy forever. Meanwhile, news of the stranger's capture spread beyond Eridronine, across the stars. Powerful political leaders and mercenary groups took notice. Some saw opportunity to control this being, and you control power beyond imagination. A message arrived from the Galactic Concord, the ruling government of many star systems. It was a demand for the stranger's immediate transfer to their custody. They called him a threat to galactic peace. Captain Myra received the order with unease. She had started to see the stranger differently, not as a weapon, but as a being caught in a storm much larger than himself. But as the transfer ship prepared to leave, a shadow moved through the colony's corridors. Someone wanted the stranger dead or alive. Late that night, an explosion rocked the medical center. Alarms blared. Soldiers rushed to find the stranger gone and the place in ruins. In a hidden corner of the colony, the stranger stood beside Mira, his eyes fierce. "They are hunting me. I have to go." Mira hesitated. "You can't run forever." He shook his head. "I must, because what I carry, it is not just my burden, it is the galaxy's future." Together they looked to the stars, knowing this was only the beginning of a much larger battle, one where trust was rare and enemies could wear the face of friends. The colony was silent beneath the twin moons. Shadows stretched long across the dusty streets as Captain Myra and the stranger, who refused to be called human, prepared to leave. The medical center lay in ruins, a stark reminder that enemies were closer than they thought. "We can't stay here," Myra said quietly, scanning the horizon for any sign of pursuit. "They will come back stronger." The stranger nodded. "I feel it too. Something is coming. Something that wants what I carry." They climbed aboard a small shuttle, its engines humming softly. The stars blinked cold and distant outside the viewport. As they lifted off, alarms screamed from the colony's sensors. Ships fast and deadly were launching in pursuit. The stranger's eyes glowed faintly. He touched his temple, and the cockpit's lights flickered. "They don't know what I'm capable of yet?" Mira watched him carefully. "What are you?" He hesitated, then whispered, "A weapon. But not like you think." The shuttle rocketed through space, dodging plasma blasts that scorched the hull. Inside, the stranger's body began to change, muscles rippling, senses sharpening beyond human limits. His breath grew heavy, but controlled. Suddenly, the engines cut out. The shuttle spun helplessly toward a dark asteroid belt. Mira gripped the console. "Brace yourself." Stranger's hand shot out, touching the control panel. A burst of blue energy surged from him, reconnecting the systems. The shuttle steadied. "Power like this is dangerous," he said, "but necessary." As they escaped the asteroid field, the stranger revealed fragments of his past. He had been part of an ancient project, melding human will with alien technology, to create protectors against a rising galactic threat. But the project failed, and he was left alone, hunted by those who feared his power. Suddenly, a distress signal crackled over the comms. Another colony was under attack by shadowy ships, the same ones chasing them. Mira's eyes hardened. "We have to help," the stranger nodded. "Then it's time to show them what not human really means." As they raced to the rescue, the stranger's powers fully awakened. His body moved with impossible speed, his hands glowing with energy that could tear ships apart. The battle that awaited would change everything, not just for them, but for the entire galaxy. Allies and enemies, the sky above the attacked colony was filled with smoke and fire. Ships soared low, firing lasers that cut through buildings and skies. Civilians ran for shelter as alarms blared non-stop. Captain Mira's shuttle touched down near the chaos. She and the stranger, still refusing to be called human, jumped out. The stranger's eyes scanned the battlefield, glowing faintly in. "The smoke? Who's attacking?" Mira asked. "Shadow Fleet," the stranger said grimly. "Mercenaries hired by those who want to capture me." Together, they moved quickly through the streets, helping survivors and fighting off the mercenaries. The stranger's strength and speed stunned the attackers. Every punch and blast seemed to shake the ground. But the colony's defenders were wary. Whispers spread fast. "Can we trust him? He's not human?" Myra overheard soldiers doubting. "The stranger." She stepped forward. "He saved my life. He's on our side." Yet distrust was hard to shake. The stranger felt it too. His alien side clashed with the humans he fought alongside. Sometimes when he looked in the mirror, he barely recognized himself. Meanwhile, far away, shadowy figures gathered in a dark room. Alien leaders and corrupt officials plotted, watching the battle's outcome. "He has power beyond our control," one said. "We must capture him before he becomes unstoppable." A plan was set in motion to send a secret assassin to the colony. Someone who could exploit the stranger's weakness, his struggle to fit in. Back on the battlefield, Mira and the stranger led a counterattack. They destroyed enemy ships and pushed mercenaries back. But the price was high. Buildings were wrecked, lives lost, and the stranger's body showed signs of strain. The bond between him and Mira grew stronger as they fought side by side. In the quiet moments between battles, the stranger shared more of his story with Mira. How he was created to protect, but now hunted as a weapon. How he longed to belong, yet feared rejection. Mira promised to help him find peace, but warned the galaxy was changing. Dark forces were rising, and their fight had only just begun. The ancient starbase loomed ahead, half buried in space dust and forgotten by time. Its broken towers reached like skeleton fingers into the black void. Captain Mira and the stranger approached cautiously, knowing this place held answers and danger. Inside the starbase, holographic walls flickered, showing scenes from a lost era. The stranger's eyes widened as memories stirred deep inside him. "This is where it all began," he said quietly. As they explored, they uncovered old data archives, evidence of a secret project. Humans and aliens had once worked together to create guardians against a terrible threat. The stranger was the last of those creations, but the weapon had a cost. The power inside him was unstable. It could protect the galaxy or destroy it. Suddenly, the starbase shook violently. Outside, enemy ships surrounded them, cutting off any escape. Mira drew her weapon. "They found us." The stranger's hands glowed with energy. "I have no choice." A fierce battle erupted inside the ruins. Energy blasts lit the dark halls. Mira fought alongside the stranger, who unleashed power unlike anything seen before. Walls cracked, floors trembled. As the fight raged, the stranger struggled to control the energy within. His anger and fear battled for dominance. If he lost control, the starbase and everyone inside would be destroyed. At the climax, he made a choice. Not just to fight the enemy, but to embrace who he was. Not human, not alien, but something new. With a burst of power, he defeated the attackers, but the starbase began to collapse. Mira grabbed his arm. "We have to get out." They raced through falling debris, barely escaping as the ruins exploded behind them. Outside, beneath the shattered stars, the stranger looked at Mira. "I was made to be a weapon," he said, "but I choose to be a protector." Mira nodded. Then let's make sure the galaxy knows what you truly are. The Last Stand. Simple English, third-person style, about 900 words. Suspenseful and thrilling for your HFY Sci-Fi channel. Part 6. The Last Stand. The battlefield stretched across the dark expanse of space. The enemy fleet, vast and relentless, moved like a storm ready to crush everything in its path. Captain Mira and the stranger stood on the bridge of their ship, ready for what could be the final fight. "This is it," Mira said, her voice steady but tense. "If we fail, everything we've fought for is lost." The stranger's eyes glowed brighter than ever. "I am not what they think I am. I am more. And today, I will prove it." The enemy opened fire. Explosions rocked the ship as lasers tore through the void. The stranger moved with lightning speed, directing energy blasts that tore through enemy vessels. But the battle was not just physical. It was a fight for survival, for identity, for the future of the galaxy. Amid the chaos, the stranger struggled to control the immense power inside him. Each attack drained him, but giving up was not an option. Mira fought by his side, her courage a beacon for the crew. "We are more than weapons," she shouted over the noise. "We are the hope of the galaxy." Together they pushed the enemy back, ship by ship. At the climax, the stranger unleashed a massive burst of energy, creating a shield that protected the last human colonies from destruction. The enemy fleet faltered and retreated. The stars were quiet once more. Breathing heavily, the stranger looked at Mira. "I am not what they say. I am not just a weapon. I am human, but more." Mira smiled. The galaxy will never forget. The day humans stood tall. As peace returned, questions remained. What did it truly mean to be human? Is it in the blood, the power, or the choices made? The stranger looked to the stars, ready for whatever came next.